Welcome back to the Xuan character reviews. This is the Inner Circle, composed of hardcore martial artists, and our next character is a panda? So now we have a Kung Fu user, and going with the fashion, it's a Kung Fu panda. I've read this character is pretty popular and it quickly grabs people's attention. And I mean about Kung Fu Panda, so it's not to wonder why they decided to include him in the game, and as sort of a comedy relief too. So according to his story, he was a scientist that was investigating the EVA or the core crystals, wherever you like to call it, but he was mutated into a giant panda. He was taken in custody to study him, but then he escaped, learned Kung Fu and went to a village to teach Kung Fu to the children. Just wow. Panda's design is not much different from Po, the character from Kung Fu Panda, and I think that was the idea. The idea of fighting pandas is not new actually, as there was a Tekken character with that name, and also Genma Saotome from Ranma, and some other anime characters like Jin Jin that were basically the same idea. So I have not much to say about his design. Still, he has a couple unique touches though. For example, a stroke of hair in his head that I guess helps to distinguish him from other characters of the like. It's not like you can have pandas too different to each other, but he carries with him a little pouch of bamboo, I guess, and he also has ropes serving as wristbands and a bolt. And the character looks plain okay. But here I have to add, this character has real appeal, especially for those who play like fun. In fact, I was playing one day when my niece came to visit and she instantly urged me to pick Panda. She seemed to like him very much. So there's undeniably an appeal for this character. And now, going with his alternate costume, it is not radically different than the main design, but it adds some solid and cliché Chinese elements to it. And I think they fit the character very well. Might make him look more like a cartoon, but that was probably the idea. And I like the Chinese jewelry and motifs they added to this costume so much. There are actually some extra details, for example, the ears look more keen and furrier, and he has beads on his neck, gold bracelets instead of wristbands, and demon hair just like Akuma. And the important thing here is that it looks pretty good. The element I like the most from both designs, however, is his fruit-throwing powers. He can attack with watermelons, apples, pumpkins and other fruits of the like. That doesn't only give him a nice gameplay, but it's a very colorful and attractive visual addition. In the first prototypes, the fruits exploded after a hit, spilling all the juice, but I guess that took much RAM, so they changed it. I miss it actually. But for some reason he can also attack with bombs and, well, that's funny. So, with the gameplay, his other moves are very fine. I have a friend that say he has too much fun with Panda as he has really good normals that can link into each other. Then there's a command grab that launches the opponent, some rolling and kicking, belly strikes, Honda punches and so on. He can even wrap himself in key energy and roll against the opponent just like Sonic. He has a very distinctive and effective gameplay and I like it much. Now there are a couple gimmicks here and there. He is supposed to be not able to talk, so he communicates through signs with letters written on them. I think he got this idea from Genma. And within the game he has no dialogues and communicates via emoticons, to the other characters' dismay, I suppose. And his hidden super has fruits cut in halves, and I read it's a parody of the Fruit Ninja video game or something. Of course, his fighting style can be completely accurate to represent Kung Fu, because his anatomy is quite different, but overall I think he manages to translate the spirit of Kung Fu to his moves, and make it look like he practices the martial art. Some of his attacks are pretty reminding of characters like Rufus from Street Fighter 4 or Bob from Street Fighter Cross Tekken, so I guess they took their models as a reference. Whatever, all of this makes Panda more curious and gives him a better well-rounded, if comedic, personality. And still, I have a little problems with his graphics. He half of the time looks okay, but on others he has some really awkward poses, animations and expressions. I guess the idea was of him being comedic, but it sometimes looks just creepy. Still, let's remember pandas are still wild animals, so they can be genuinely fierce in some instances. And on the other department, his story doesn't fit much the character. I mean, it doesn't translate to the screen. I don't see anything of his scientist past when the model is on screen. No tragic past, no bitterness and psychological trauma. And yes, that's mentioned in his storyline. He only looks like a wacky panda. But whatever, not everyone cares about the story on fighting games, and if you want a panda to be around to play with or against, or simply enjoy the lol factor, you're gonna definitely be pleased by his appearance. And that's what I can say about Panda, a pretty good character. Even if not entirely original, his game style is good enough to make you want to play with him over and over again. And some people find hilarious a mutated fat giant panda is in the game. So yes, that's kind of cool and that's a very appreciated variety to the roster. So see you in the next episode and thanks for watching.